A part of psychic development that can't be overlooked is learning how to live with your psychic abilities. In this video, I'm going to give you tips to help you feel comfortable with your abilities and come out of the psychic closet, explain how to be responsible with your gifts, and give you self-care tips to make living with your gifts easier. Hello, I'm Wendy Rapp, spiritual life coach and psychic tarot reader. On this channel, I help you as a spiritually awakened person grow and evolve on your soul's journey. And if you enjoy information like this, hit the subscribe button because I upload a new video every Sunday. Living as a psychic does not mean that we are constantly in psychic mode. In fact, it's really important you learn to turn your abilities on and off, or in reality, you learn to turn the volume down. We're here living a physical existence on this earth plane, and we have responsibilities and things we need to do, take care of. So it's important we learn to turn that volume down so that we can be grounded and be able to take care of the things in our lives that need tending to. I'm going to share with you a really simple exercise that I do every time I want to turn the volume up or turn the volume down with my abilities. When I'm about to do any kind of a spiritual practice, whether it's actually doing readings or I'm doing meditation, of course I do my grounding and then my shielding and call in my angels and guides, and that's letting them know I'm ready to do some sort of spiritual practice. So they're on alert now. And then after I get myself prepared and in that mindset, I see the area in my third eye. So if I'm going into a reading or going to be giving readings, I see the area in my third eye, and it's like a pilot light, the way I see it in my mind's eye. It's like a pilot light or a light bulb that's on a dimmer switch. And because when you're psychic and once you open your abilities, you are always open, or more open than most, but you do need to learn to turn the volume down for your day-to-day living. So it's on a dimmer switch, the way I see it. And when I'm ready to start working, after I've grounded, protected myself, I then go ahead and, like, I see a switch turning that makes that light brighter, as if you're doing the knob on a dimmer light. And I see that light get very, very bright and fill up the third eye and actually expand around me. And when you do that, you're alerting your angels and guides, your spirit team, that you're ready to do psychic work. I see it that way as I do my work. And then when I'm done for the night with my readings, or done with whatever meditation practice I've done, I then take that dimmer switch and I turn the volume down. And I let myself in that area, it's like you're giving it a little bit of a rest. You're turning the energy level down. You do need to do that, or you can really kind of burn yourself out if you're not careful. But turning the volume down helps you to stay more grounded so you can do the things you need to do. Another way some people see that is as a candle that they light when they're about to do some kind of psychic work, and then when the work is over, they blow the candle out. So definitely pay attention when you're getting ready to do any kind of meditative or psychic work, and see yourself turning that light on, and then when you're done, make sure you turn it off. That does help you to, it sends a signal to your angels and guides, first of all, that I'm done for the night, or I'm done for the day, and I'm just going to go about my day. You're not turning it completely off, by the way. You're just dimming it quite a bit. But it does help to conserve your own psychic energy, and it helps you to stay grounded. And aside from helping you stay grounded, when you do that exercise, it also helps you so that you're not going around picking up on everybody else's energy. And that's important because you don't want to be intrusive into the energies of others. But aside from that, it can be very draining if you're in public or you're around people and you're picking up vibes from their energies, which you will to some degree anyway, but you don't want it on full volume when you're out and about or around your friends. It's very psychically and physically draining on you. So for your own energy and your own well-being, as well as for the privacy of others, make sure you turn that volume down. And the next thing you're going to want to learn to do is to really be comfortable with your abilities. Now, when I grew up, I was very psychically open. So I had friends calling me weird. My stepmother called me demonic. And by the time I was ready to really, in earnest, start owning my gifts and working with them, I was a lot hesitant, not just a little, but a lot hesitant to start sharing with people that I was a psychic. And in fact, you may have even noticed that on this channel, I introduced myself as a psychic tarot reader. If you look at some of the earlier videos, I'm calling myself intuitive tarot reader because of the, I would say, bias that society has against the word psychic. I've owned it. I've been owning it in person, but I haven't been calling myself psychic on the channel for a while, and I own it. You're going to want to be able to feel comfortable to do the same. And when I talk to some of my clients who are open and I talk to them about how they are with their family, it's the same thing. They're afraid to start opening up and telling people they know about their abilities because they're afraid of the bias, the ridicule, the prejudice society has. And we need to learn to get comfortable with it. We need to learn to be free and own who we really are. So I'm going to give you some tips to help you feel comfortable coming out of the psychic closet. The first is really practice, practice, practice. Practice with your abilities. Practice until you feel that you have mastered them. Practice until you feel that you are comfortable with yourself and that you really do trust your own abilities. Learning to trust your abilities first before you start sharing with everybody really is key, because then at least you know what you are capable of before you share. And secondly, start seeing yourself and talking to yourself as, I am psychic. It was hard for me when I first started opening up. I kept using the word intuitive, which, yes, I was, but then I took it a step further and became psychic. So owning the word psychic, I don't know why there's some kind of a block there with a lot of people, but there is. And it could be societal, it could be, the bias that we all have heard, people, the movies, that sort of thing. But own the word psychic, own seeing yourself that way. And then remind yourself it's just one part of you. You are also a student, or a mother, or a father, or a teacher, or a nurse, or a fisherman, or an animal lover. There's so many other aspects of who you are. Being psychic is just one aspect of who you are. So integrate that aspect of yourself and make it a part of your persona, and see it as a part of your persona. Get comfortable with it, because once you're comfortable with it, you will feel comfortable sharing that with others. And when you're ready to start sharing with people that you have these gifts, be selective. Who are the people in your life who love you for who you are, who are always supportive of you? Start with that group of people first. Whether they're family, friends, start with the people you know who are going to be supportive. And then over time, when you see that these people naturally accept this and learn to accept this as a part of you, you will naturally feel more comfortable sharing with other people. But also, don't be surprised if word of mouth doesn't spread the word for you. But by that point, you'll have that core group of supporters. And when that core group of supporters is showing you this support, then usually other people, even if they do have something negative to say, it won't bother you. But usually others will begin accepting as well. They follow the lead from that core group of supporters. And don't be surprised when you're ready to open up and you start sharing with your friends that they will probably let you know that some of them have abilities as well, which would be really nice for you to have somebody to practice with and to teach them what you've been learning, and help them do it in a way where they're in a comfortable space with someone accepting of their gifts. So you never know who might be holding on to or protecting themselves from being found out until you open up. You might be giving someone else the courage to open up and own their own gifts. And aside from support from your friends or your family, you may want to look for metaphysical stores that have healing circles, psychic message circles, looking for like-minded people and joining groups. Even online, there are pages on Facebook and in other forums that will give you a space to talk about what you're going through, to experiment, to play with your gifts. And being around like-minded people will help you to feel more comfortable with your gifts. And just a word of caution, and this is important to remember, when you are opening up and sharing with people about your gifts, I guarantee you will run into skeptics and cynics, and they may be family members, they may be friends, but you will run into some, guaranteed. Now, when that happens, just remember, if they are mocking you or making fun of you, keep a sense of humor about it. Remember, they don't have the ability to see things the way you do. They are where they are on their journey, and that's okay. So keep a sense of humor. Don't let it bother you or discourage you. And try to diffuse the situation with a little humor if you can. If you don't take yourself too seriously, then they'll see that they can't get to you. Just try to keep a sense of humor, and just whatever you do, don't let it discourage you. You will run into it, but you know what you're capable of. And when I run into people like that, actually I feel kind of sorry for them that they don't have the ability to see beyond the third dimension, that they don't have the ability to connect with their angels and guides. So feel a bit of empathy and sympathy for them, because it's a wonderful thing to be able to be open psychically and know and see the support that we have around us that most people just do not acknowledge or feel in their lives. And I do feel very sorry for people like that. And another word of caution. There will be people who, when they find out you're psychic, will challenge you. People who, whether it's your family or friends of yours, will say, well, if you're so psychic, which hand has the coin? Or, well, then what was my mother's name? Or they'll ask you questions that they want you to give them the answer to right then and there. You are never required to prove yourself or your abilities to anyone, ever. So what I usually do when people challenge me is I just tell them I'm not in psychic mode right now, which is true. If you're going about your day, you're not usually turned, the volume's not up, the volume's down, so you can go through your day. I don't know. John Edward, the medium, often has people approach him and say, what do you see around me? And his response is nothing, because he's not in the energy. There is nothing wrong with owning that, and let people know you don't go around. Psychic ability doesn't work like that, which is what I tell people. And when people do that, sometimes I'm at EarthSpirit and I am in my psychic mode, but people come in the store and start wanting answers to questions right then and there, or what do you see, what do you see? And I let them know. If they want to know, we have to sit in a reading, and I will give that information to them once I open to their energies. But I'm not open just walking around the store. I kind of tune it in a little bit, and then I open it up more fully when I'm actually in the reading. So you don't owe, just remember, you don't owe it to anyone to prove what you know and what you can do. And another really important tip is don't brag about your abilities or talk about your abilities as if it makes you special, because quite frankly, you're not. Psychic abilities have been around since the beginning of time, and before then even. And as psychic as you may think you are, there's always someone out there who has greater abilities, different abilities, abilities you may wish you had. So whatever you do, don't brag about your abilities, because that also is demeaning to the source the energy comes from. Don't forget, intuitive ability is within your own field, but it's part of your higher self. The psychic abilities is you being able to connect to your angels and guides. And because you show yourself as working honorably with them, they're open to communicating this information to you. If you didn't have that team, that spirit team working with you, you wouldn't be able to tap in the way you do. So don't take credit for what they give you. And another important tip to remember is just because you're psychically opened, it doesn't mean you have the right to be able to look into the personal affairs of others. That's called psychic spying, and we don't do that. It's unethical. And there's two reasons you actually don't want to do it. One is it's unethical, but the second reason is it's not something that your higher spirit guides and angels are going to want to work with you on. I have known people who have done psychic spying, trying to look into the personal business of others. And when you do that, the guides that you're meant to be working with for the highest good go, yeah, no, we don't do that. And they step back. And when they step back, there are wannabe guides that step in, lower level energies that will step in, and they may give you a fleck of information here or there that's on point, but then they'll give you all kinds of information that's not. And I've actually had somebody do this to me one time, and the information they got from the person who was trying to spy on me was completely off. So don't do that. It's simply unethical. When you sit down to do a reading with someone, you need to keep it confidential. When you are doing a reading for a friend or a client, it's a contract. It's a sacred contract. When they sit down and I sit down for this reading and our guides open the energy so that we can communicate and I can get the information they need, it's a sacred contract that where I am letting them know I'm not going to be sharing this information. This is just between this person and myself. And then that way my guides will allow that information to come in because they know I'm going to keep it confidential. So remember, it's unethical, and your higher spirit guides, your spirit team are not going to work with you on that. So just don't do it. And a few other tips to remember is to accept your limitations. Just because you're psychically open does not mean you have every psychic gift out there. Few psychics I know, in fact, I don't know any psychics who actually have every gift that's known out there. But most psychics will have a number of gifts, and they will be very good with those certain gifts. So make sure you acknowledge your limitations. You will get respect from people. It's okay to say, you know what, I'm really not good with that area, or I don't do that, but I'm good at, and whatever it is you're good at. People will respect you for it. Another area you need to learn to develop is good boundaries, because once people know you're psychic, there will be a guarantee. There will be friends who will always, or at least that one friend, who will always want a reading from you or to get some kind of intuitive information or psychic information from you. And that can be very draining. You're not always on. You're allowed to get together with friends without being on, and to just relax and be yourself. So if you find that somebody is doing that, you just let them know. Not right now. I'm just relaxing and having a good time like everyone else here at this party. I'm not here to entertain everybody. I'm not the floor show. So maybe another time, if you would like me to give you a reading, give me a call and we can set something up. Maintain good boundaries. You need to do that for your own psychic and physical well-being. And if you are going to be using your gifts to be of service to others, and even if you're not, just doing psychic practice work, it takes a lot of energy to raise our vibration, to be able to tap in. So you need to remember, after you do a practice session, or if you're using your abilities to work with others to be of service, after you're done, make sure you take time to take care of yourself. That's really important, because it really does take a lot of energy out of you. So recharge. Make sure that you ground yourself fully, take a walk, do some light exercise, spend some time vegging out in front of the TV with a good movie, with a good book, pamper yourself with a bath or a nap. Make sure you eat something. If you are doing any kind of psychic work or activity, when you're done, I always suggest people eat something. It just helps to ground you. It helps to ground that energy. Which sometimes in the beginning, when I was first doing my psychic work, I didn't know to do that. And I'd come home, and even though I'd be exhausted, I'd be like wired. So my mentor taught me that, well, when you come home from doing your readings or your work, you should eat something light. It will help to ground the energy. And she was right. I slept much better during the night when I did that. So make sure you take care of yourself so that you will be recharged for the next time. And proper self-care really is part of your psychic development. So make sure you take care of yourself by getting plenty of rest, getting exercise, eating nutritious food, drinking lots of water. It helps to keep you strong, and it helps to keep that psychic channel clear for you when you're ready to open up and use those abilities. I hope that information was helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I love hearing from you. I do respond to those comments, so please feel free to comment. Also, if you would like to get a reading with me, I am available for in-person or phone readings. Just call the number on the screen, EarthSpirit New Age Center in Red Bank, New Jersey, and they will set up an appointment time for you. If you'd like to connect with me on social media, the links are below in the description box. As always, remember, you are a spark of the divine. Share your light with the world. Blessings.